Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's now time for Pool D, the final pool to do. Also very interesting, evenly matched and open pool. One where easily we could have a surprise, and again, not on the same side as the pool of death. So I think we're going to see some interesting results there as well. Just to run through the teams, of course, Argentina, England, who are the finalists in 2019, Japan, Chile, and Samoa. Those are the 5 teams in that pool. It's going to be a very tough pool. So we'll go through them individually one by one. Okay, let's start with Chile. Probably the Los Terros, as they're known, or is that, sorry, that's Uruguay. So Chile are the surprise package of the last couple of years. They came back and they lost their first game against USA in the qualifying and then beat them in Chile on the way back. So they're extremely hard-working, fighting team, a team that never gives up, and I think they might be hopelessly outclassed at this World Cup, but they're going to be definitely a handful for everybody. They play a very exciting brand of rugby, and I think we're going to see quite a bit of them, but they'll be fun to watch. I don't expect them to do too much. Japan might have a bit of a problem with them, but I don't see any of the other teams getting too much of a big game against them. But it's good to see them make it to the World Cup, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them. Don't know too much about them, but I don't expect them to cause too many upsets. Next, Samoa. Yeah, well, I mean, the Samoans are obviously an exceptional team. They ran Ireland close the other day as well. They've got a number of players who've come back to Samoa because of the eligibility rules, and are certainly going to be a handful for any team as well. They've proven that World Cups, their physical approach can be something that can really upset other teams, and it's going to be something that they're going to be a handful for a team like England especially. I think Argentina will quite enjoy the physical approach, but Japan could also have a few tough days against them as well. So Samoa are going to be a handful. I could easily see them scoring an upset against one of those other teams as well. Then Japan, well, unfortunately Japan are a bit of a shadow of themselves from the 2019 World Cup hosts, who made it so through to the playoffs and really surprised a lot of people. I was really impressed with them, and unfortunately when the Sunwolves left Super Rugby, and they would almost take a step backwards, and you sort of feel for them in a way. Being out of international competition, where Samoa's probably and Fiji have probably enjoyed being in the Super Rugby Pacifica. The Sunwolves exclusion has almost taken Japan backwards. They're still a quality side. They haven't had a great run into the World Cup, so there's a lot of questions about them as well. But I'm not sure they're going to have the best World Cup, if that's anything to go by. Hoping that they still can cause an upset or two, but they definitely are far away from where they were 4 years ago in their home country, and that's a shame, because we really hope they could take that and take it to another level. But it's always good to see a team like Japan. They're always fun to watch, so they should be interesting as well. Then we get to England, of course, the big talking point, everybody's big talking point, the 2019 World Cup finalist, the team that tends to surprise in the World Cup, even when they're written off. But they are in a bit of a mess now, let's be very honest. Of all the red cards, Owen Farrell, Vunipola overshadowing them, all the troubles they've had, the unimpressive performances, etc. They still got a lot of quality in that squad. Steve Borthwick's finding it hard to obviously get the team into a bit of a rhythm. But World Cup's something that can galvanise a team, and I expect they'll probably be a lot better at this World Cup, or it's going to be a very short World Cup for them. If it goes one way, if it goes wrong, could easily see them exiting before the quarterfinals in the pool stages, and I think that'll leave Steve Borthwick with a very, very tough job ahead. A lot of people won't be happy about that, but if they do make it through, it's an easier side of the draw than the other side, and you could easily see them going through to the semi-finals there. And England have this tendency, no matter what happens at a World Cup, they tend to do very well at World Cups as well. They tend to sort of band together, backs against the wall, and I can easily see this happening as well under Steve Borthwick. But the proof is in the pudding, and they don't have an easy time either, and there's going to be teams gunning for them, just as there are in the other pools. And then finally, Michael Checker's team, Argentina. Then definitely a team I think you need to watch at this World Cup, probably one of the dark horses, especially because they've got an easier run than the other sides, and by the time they meet some of the bigger sides, they could be very much have a lot of momentum, and they tend to play well in France. A lot of the players play there in France, they enjoy it. If you look at the performance in their last World Cup in France. They beat France twice and they made the semi-finals. They made the semi-finals in 2015 as well. They're the type of team that really comes good at the World Cup, and they've got a very, very tough group of players who really perform under adversity. They've won in the last couple of years. They've won in New Zealand and Australia. They're a really good, hard team, and they know how to dig out a win. And the win at Twickenham last year against England will give them a lot of confidence going into that game as well. So to me, Argentina are favourites to top this group. I could see them beating England. I could see them beating Samoa as well. And I could see them obviously running through the group quite easily if they get on form, which will set them up pretty good for the quarterfinals. And then we could easily see them in a semi-final. And from there, it's a lottery, so anything can happen. So, and if they've got momentum, they're going to be very tough. Michael Check is a very astute coach. He's got some good firepower there, and they play a very good brand of rugby. They're not going to shy away from the physical stuff, but they also got some speed out wide and some real classy guys under the high ball as well. So I expect them to be a big factor. Then, so how do we think this pool's going to play out? Well, I think, to be honest, I see England probably coming through at the end of the day. The England-Samoa game is going to be crucial. I don't see Japan troubling the other teams. I don't see Chile troubling the other teams. But I do see that Samoa-England game is going to be crucial. And if England can win that game, I think it'll be England and Argentina that will go through. But as I say, it could easily go very wrong. England could also easily surprise us. There's still a lot of quality, and it's basically the same pack, more or less, that went to the last World Cup final. They just seem to be struggling from a lot of belief, and they've certainly got the talent, but somehow there's something missing there. That can easily come together at the World Cup, and we've seen it happen before, so I wouldn't write them off totally. So that's it. My choices are England and Argentina for that pool, and I think it should be quite an interesting one. Also, for different reasons, all these pools are interesting to watch, and they have their own sort of tapestry stories and drama that's going to happen. So that's it for Pool D. That would be my quarterfinalists. I'd love it if Samoa do spring a surprise. I could easily see them happening. But I think those are the two teams that are going to go through from there. So let me know who you think is going to qualify from this group. And thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's always good to get some feedback on this. See you in the next videos. There'll be a lot more like these coming along in the World Cup. Cheers.